So let's start. So Ms. Davis, all right. So I'm here. My name is you guys know me, Yinka Omo Yoruba, and I'm here with Ms. Davis. She's a principal of Sharpwood Practicing School. So I do appreciate them. They're committed me to come in and speak to the students tomorrow. But I'm fortunate enough to have a little short interview with Ms. Davis. So Ms. Davis, thank you so much.
You're
So, like a lot of my people, when they would like to know what your perspective is on education here in Jamaica in general, and also what is your perspective on Africa, and also just your future ambition, so to speak, or what you see in terms of like what would you like to put into the kids for the future of Jamaica and the world.
All right, so that's a three-part question.
Yes.
Let me take it one part at a time.
Yes, please.
Our perspective on education in Jamaica is that it is a growing sector, right? I for one have experienced the change in education because I came from the school where, teachers would beat and sometimes if you were getting it, you'd be placed in a special class where not much attention was shown. But the Ministry of Education and the stakeholders in education in Jamaica has taken education to a totally different level where every child is said to be able to learn and every child must learn. Because of that, a lot has gone into policy decisions and training of staff and students, and because as a result, what we're seeing now is that Jamaica has an education system that is likening very much to first world education systems, and students are more confident in what they're getting. Parents are more confident. We've seen assessment move from simply a single grade to descriptive grades descriptive marks for each section of a piece of assessment, so that parents can actually understand what is happening. And they will no longer see 94, okay, my child has passed, or 65, my child has failed. But they can really understand which areas in which their child or children are performing and the areas that they need support. We also see where education has become very accessible. In times past, persons fought to get into colleges and universities, and finances was a serious challenge. But the private sector has come on board to make loans more accessible to persons. Our government has looked into financing education, and so education all the way up to high school now is granted to our students, so they don't pay for it, right? They will give contributions, but they're not paying for it. So when you look overall at education, the value itself has been raised. Students have come to acknowledge that, look, it's no longer a do or die situation, it's I have to try situation, right? And the teachers are very committed. Teachers from the old school have passed on their knowledge and their expertise, and the younger ones are taking up the baton and running with it. And because of their exposure to the global society, new and innovative strategies are employed now in education. We still have a far way to go, and that's the truth. But where we are right now is much better than where we're coming from. As a product of the education system in Jamaica, I can say that education has not failed me. I've not stopped progressing since I started school, right? And I came from a cohort of very successful persons. All right. As it relates to how we view Africa, I must say that childhood to adulthood, our view on Africa transitions, all right? So children would usually get the single view of Africa that the media promotes, right? So the media will say that Africa is a poor country, people are starving, you need to sponsor these children and stuff like that. And so the children would somehow be initially introduced to Africa as a needy country that doesn't have much to offer. However, when they enter the official school system and they begin to learn about where we came from, or the people who came, they begin to get a more enriched enriched experience,
Okay.
and they begin to appreciate Africa as a place in the world.
Right.
Yeah, another
Just a
place,
cool place, right.
another place in the world
Right,
where
right.
everything happens just like everywhere else.
Right.
And as they grow into adulthood, you'll notice that many of our young people are going into Africa for work, and especially to work in education.
Oh, excellent. Right.
Yes, so our staff has experienced movement in
Right.
that area where we have like 3 or 4 members
Right.
going to Africa to teach.
Right.
You understand? So now everybody knows that, oh, Africa has means.
Right.
Africa has right, and it's passing down to our
Right.
generation.
Right.
I will still say though that the single story is hard, and I must accredit this term, the single story, to one of your very own. I don't remember her name, but one of your very own. I saw her online on YouTube, and she was talking about how she realized that across the world persons really didn't know Africans. So I
Right.
watched it, and I realized that we really need to make our children aware.
Right.
We have started, but as I said, the media speaks loudly.
Of course.
All right,
Right.
and so when you interact with the children, you get a better picture
Yes,
of how they view Africa.
Right.
All right, so, and by the way, we have gotten visits from African students.
Okay.
Yes,
Nice.
who come into our classrooms, and they'll show the
Oh,
children
okay, excellent.
their
Right.
culture,
Right.
and so when we interact, we'll get a few words
Okay.
from them, right? But our children do know though,
Right.
that a major part of our history lies in Africa.
Excellent.
All right,
Right,
they
right.
do know that.
Right,
And we
right.
have Black History Month when we talk about the heroes and
Right,
all of that,
right.
so we're proud, and not just the heroes and the fighters.
Right.
Our children are very much aware that Black people are the ones who started this
Yeah, exactly.
civilization
Right.
and great inventors and innovators.
Right.
All right, but as I said, Africa is not just about the Black. It's
Right.
if you talk about color and race,
Right.
Africa has it all.
Right. Of course.
So we introduce these things to our children, but there is much to be done. So
Okay.
intervention would be good.
Right.
You understand? We like
It's
partnerships like
Of
this,
course.
right? For your final question, let me see if I can pick up what the final.
Yeah. The
question
final
was.
question is like, what is your ambition? Like, what do you see the kids? What would you want to instill in the children for their future in the world, in Jamaica, and also particularly in Africa? I said, what would you want? What would you wish for? What would your effort to instill in them?
All right. Well, first and foremost, we want them to have self-confidence and self-worth.
Right.
We want them to establish their own identity and be able to choose for themselves,
Right.
rather than to be dictated to, whether by media or by the government of their own country or by any single entity.
Right.
We want our children to grow independently
Right.
and be critical thinkers,
Right.
so that they can operate in any city, any society that they go into.
Right.
As critical thinkers, we would really love for them to understand their past
Right.
and be able to use it to drive how they move on into the future. Right? Some of us will have to stay to ensure that the history is not forgotten.
Right.
All right, because if you don't know where you come from,
Right.
you absolutely have no direction.
Right. Of
All right.
course, right.
So some of us will have to ensure that the history continues, but there are those who will grow out of just what Jamaica provides, right? We want them to grow. We want them to be citizens, cross-cultural citizens,
Right.
so they can take up citizenship anywhere,
Right.
function anywhere,
Right.
but never forget Jamaica.
Exactly. Of course.
Making sure that the
Yeah.
development is happening here in
Yeah,
Jamaica.
of
So
course.
what we want to ensure that we prepare them for the world,
Right.
and they come back and build Jamaica.
Exactly right, and like that is the goal, and that is what one of my program is focused on, and that's what a lot of my supporters are looking for. So, as African children in Jamaica, one of our goals is always to kind of instill self-worth, self-esteem. And Ms. Davis is amazing. As you can see, she does a great job. I will come back to the school tomorrow and give you guys a little tour. But part of the reason why we instill African heritage and for children to have a better understanding of Africa is because when they see their reflection as good, as great, it instills greatness within them too. So they will know the world is not. Yes, Jamaica is a great island, great country, but the minds need to be bigger than that. And so Mrs. Davis, she's amazing. One of her jobs is to instill this vision and this mentality into our children, so they do not just become Jamaican citizens, they become worldwide African citizens. So as we continue this connection to different African people around the world, and we will start with one country at a time. So.